Avoiding the tumor twin habits. There are two habits that, just like tumors, can literally eat you from the inside out. And these two twins are known as competing and comparing. It is virtually impossible to complete habit number 4, think win-win, from the 7 habits of highly effective people with these around. Now, to jump a little bit on a personal note, I'm very excited to talk about this because this is something that I struggle with heavily. And you know what they say, the best thing to do is to teach it so that you can learn it. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing, competition. Competition in itself can be extremely healthy. It drives us to improve, to stretch and reach towards those farther distances. Without its initial presence, we would never know how far we can push ourselves. Just think about it. Within the business world, the economy prospers because of the initial presence of competition. In sports, world records are being beat. But there is a nasty side towards competition as well, one that can literally eat you from the inside out. Just like any concept within the world, competition carries both black and white. Competition is extremely healthy when you compete against your own self. However, it becomes highly toxic when you start attaching your self-worth to winning, or as a way to leverage your own ego. Okay, so Tim Galloway, the author of The Inner Game of Tennis, said this very powerful quote I wanted to read to you, and it's going to easily be found from your 7 Habits book. So, when competition is used as a means of creating a self-image relative to others, the worst in a person comes out. Then the ordinary fears and frustrations become greatly exaggerated. It is as if some believe that only by being the best, only by being a winner, will they be eligible for love and respect they seek. Children who have been taught to measure themselves in this way often become adults driven by the compulsion to succeed, which overshadows all else. So, as I mentioned from the introduction of this video, this is my greatest weakness. I'm not kidding you. Ask me literally right now, what is your greatest weakness? I will tell you off the bat. I am crazy competitive. I am crazy comparative. And in the worst manner, not in competition with my own self, but quite the contrary, with everyone else. The issue is just I grew up in a household where achievement was everything. And I mean it, absolutely everything. Achievement was literally my esteem. Achievement was my self-worth. As you can imagine, my drive to succeed has always been great. I've never had much of a problem with dedication or hard work or any of that kind of stuff. But every single time I would fail, or if I would, come off worse than somebody else, I would high-key take it personally. I would actually go into complete self-sabotage mode. And since reading the 7 Habits, for some reason, I've never noticed that chapter before, and I started reading through it just recently, and I realized, oh my goodness, this is huge. This is huge. It stopped me on so many different levels in my life, and since then, I've actually been coming to apply and change my mindset, and changing my mindset to start going down the notion of be in competition with my own self. How far can I push myself? Now, to truly embed this into an action plan based on this new attitude that I've developed, I started surrounding myself with people that are way better than I am in any given field that I'm going into. So literally, I found entrepreneurs my age, which are 19, which are doing crazy stuff in the world right now. I've been literally surrounding myself with better speakers, with mentors that are high experts within their fields, and learning as much as I can from them. So I highly recommend you do the same. Get yourself around people that are way better than you are and switch your mindset, because it starts doing wonderful things and you start living a life that's so much more enjoyable. All right, how about I provide you with a small suggestion? What if we start using competition as a mere benchmark to compete ourselves against, and stop using it as a way to compete for girlfriends, boyfriends, status, popularity, what else can you say? Positions, and so forth. Believe me, life will become so much more enjoyable if you begin to compete against your own self and your own potential. Right? Growing together, I think, is so much more fun than if you're constantly being threatened by, oh my God, who's better? No, it's not a thing. It's not a thing. To jump into the second toxic habit, and that is comparing. Comparing is competition's twin, and it is just as toxic and cancerous. See, the thing is, we all have different developmental timetables, and I'm talking mentally, socially, and physically. I'd like you to imagine life in this kind of a manner. We all have our own obstacle course. Every single one of us. Think about it. We all have different circumstances. We all grew up in very different environments. Home environments has a huge impact. Different cultures, different mental maturation, different biological maturation, etc., etc. Now, this obstacle course is specifically designed for your own personal growth. Nobody else's. So in that case, what is the point if you're constantly taking a look at what your next door neighbor is doing? How is it helping you? It's not. Building your life based on how you stack up comparing to other people is never a good thing. What you're basically allowing is you're allowing external forces to have control over you. If I get my security from the fact that my GPA is higher than yours, then what happens when someone has a higher GPA than I do? Or has more popular friends? Now, to be honest with you, I'm almost entirely speaking here from personal experience. I've been this individual my entire life, and it has stopped me again and again and again from so many different opportunities. One moment I'd be up, the next I'd be down. I'd feel confident one moment, then I'd feel completely in self-sabotage and intimidated the next. I would be feeling superior one moment and then completely inferior the next. The only good comparison is comparing yourself and your potential.
The only good comparison is comparing yourself and your potential.